Hello and good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I'm Fallen Corpses, and we are having another Friday session of our Hangouts here with our special guests, Kokomo Games. It's a busy week for us here at YGG. This is our third stream. We've had our community update, we've had DeFi Kingdoms, and now we've got another gaming studio to come join us and tell you all about what they're doing in Web3. So it's always a blast to be your host, and I will bring on our guests from Kokomo Games. We've got Ben and we've got Guy. How are you guys?
Great, thanks for having us. Excited to be here.
Yeah, it was a little
hello,
bit of a...
hello everyone.
Oh,
Sorry,
there he is.
Just jumping in the middle. Sorry. Glad to be here. Excited to talk more about what we're doing.
Yeah, always excited. I know it was a little bit of short notice, but we made it work. We made it work. So Ben, Guy, tell us a little bit about yourselves and what you both do at Kokomo Games, and maybe your journey in Web3 or Web2, and how you came to get said position at this studio.
Guy, you want to kick it off? Go for it.
Yeah, I can get started. I'm responsible for everything growth. Like I'm the head of growth for Kokomo Games. Been in Web3 for the last around 4 years now. My background is actually in esports and gaming. So ran a bunch of esports startup, starting a little over 10 years ago now. From content and data, and then jumped into in fantasy, esports, and then jumped into gaming. I co-founded a studio who built a tactical RPG Web3 game for mobile, and got a lot of learning, a lot of experiences, and I joined Kokomo last year to spearhead growth, and have been having a blast so far.
And how about you, Ben?
Yeah, so I'm the founder of Kokomo. Done a bunch of different things along the way. Started in TradFi. I was working at a fund in London. Then managed to move over to crypto full time probably 5-6 years ago. I was working at Bitpanda, the biggest exchange in Europe. Sort of built out the Pro exchange there. And then from there, actually, I moved over to LimeWire, if anyone remembers, the old platform for downloading music, or if anyone saw the Web3 comeback. That was kind of my responsibility there. So kind of leading Web3 side of things, everything that goes into a token launch and rolling out various different blockchain-based products. Scaled it up to 1.3 bill all-time high at one point, lists on a bunch of exchanges, so on. And then, really have always been very kind of competitive gamer by background. I played pro sports before doing all of that. And really wanted to kind of build something in the gaming space, because I do truly believe that, how everyone always says Web3 gaming is the tool that can onboard millions and hundreds of millions or billions of users to Web3. I do truly believe that. And so that's kind of what led to starting Kokomo. But I'm sure we'll go into more detail on all the various parts, so you can pause there.
Yeah, sounds like a big resume for both of you guys, and definitely in the right place here, because as Gabby says, and I see one of our resident streamers, and the Web3 gaming is inevitable. It's gonna happen. It just needs to be streamlined, right? So the ideal world is that people play games and they enjoy it, but they have no clue that there's blockchain technology working in the background unless they really want to dig into it, right? That's the dream.
Right. I always say, when my mom or my dad or whatever, they ask me, like, what do you actually do? I always use the analogy of trying to explain to them kind of the opportunities that you can get from Web3 technology in gaming. And I think that kind of can go underappreciated a little bit, like even just payment rails. We have users from all over the world. Grew up in London, live all over the place. I shouldn't have any business with people from India and Nigeria and the US, South America, Asia, all over playing my games, but it's all possible because of Web3. And I think people underappreciate small things like that. So I agree. I was going to say it as well, but didn't want to plug it in the first 60 seconds. Web3 gaming, in my opinion, is inevitable. We just got to keep building.
Exactly. Guy, what do you think about this, the whole Web3 space, and do you agree with that sentiment that it's inevitable?
It is inevitable. It's just like it's not quite there yet. I would say we are getting getting there over the last years. I know especially when I started, things were very let's say Wild West style. It was very crazy, very. No one really knew what to expect and what to do. Just kind of just trying to find some solutions to stuff that actually didn't even exist. So a lot of trial and error back then, 4 or 5 years past. Definitely matured a little bit over the last years. Definitely the space. You'll get there at some point. Not just a question, a matter no when exactly. But yeah, excited to see what the future holds.
Yeah, so speaking of the future, let's kind of talk a little bit about what Kokomo Games is and how you feel like you're going to be a part of that future, how you're going to play your role.
Sure, I can take that. I guess the one line is to quickly explain who we are and what we're trying to do. We're on a mission to build the world's most rewarding mini gaming platform. And so what that actually means is that where we're building is kind of this intersection of what we think is almost the evolution of play to earn. And effectively, the platform that we're building is an all-in-one platform where users can come, they can play classic casual games and many other games across different verticals, and you can play them in various competition forms, so tournaments or 1v1s or instant competitions, and you can earn real money from playing them. So we're not really trying to reinvent the wheel or anything. We're just initially focusing on titles that everyone knows how to play. Our pilot that we ran of our tournament model, we did it with the classic Snake game, and everyone was super hyped, saying oh, I haven't played this since my Nokia, But it's super fun and it's simple and it's casual. So those are the games we're focusing on, and then really just building this competition layer on top so that people can actually come in and compete and earn real money from it as well. And the wider vision is that we want to hit multiple verticals. So not only these kind of familiar classic games, but there's an opportunity here because the way that we've been building the tech is basically that any zero-sum game, so literally any game that ends with a score can fit into our infrastructure and can be played in a competition. So that doesn't just mean casual games, it also could mean quizzes or sports or fantasy or prediction or anything like that. And so we really kind of want to target this intersection of mini gaming that's easy. You can pick it up in 30 to 60 seconds, you played, you've got a chance to win. Hopefully you win. But also you have a social element here where, if we are all sitting on a Friday night and we want to play a chess tournament or something, we can pull it up and play in person as well. So the idea is that we keep it very broad, and we're kind of taking a bit more of an infrastructure approach in everything we're doing from a tech perspective. And the goal that we have is that we want to have hundreds of games on the platform, millions of gamers, and maybe be that platform that can target those hundreds of millions of gamers that we were mentioning earlier.
Wow, very cool. Big ambitions there. So you're again, you want to be the platform that everything's hosted on. You have all these tools / infrastructure working to make, I don't know, you could essentially have a poker night with your boys, but it's all hosted on your platform.
Exactly. Yeah.
So let me just pop up the website here, and maybe you can just walk us through some of the highlights as we're going through here. And kudos to whoever your website designer is, because I always love these kind of scrolling verticals. So yeah, do you want to just talk about this first card here? It seems like you've got a pretty stacked team of devs working with you guys.
Yes, we're small, but we're lean and mean, and we're biased, but we've done some cool stuff. So obviously there's Guy and myself. The rest of the team, our lead game designer, he actually comes from some of the biggest gaming companies in the world. So he worked on Call of Duty Mobile and League of Legends. He was at Riot, at Activision, at Gala. Our CTO is ex-Google. He actually was there right when they started researching DLT. So very, very, very early on. We say 5-6 years in Web3. I think technically, if you think about it, he's got a lot more than all of us. But he also then jumped over into Web3 and did some cool stuff. Like he built out a Web3 esports tournament platform. So very kind of similar to what we're doing, except for esports. And then, yeah, we have other core contributors from various different places as well. Some common household names you have in there too. And really just kind of rounded out a really nice roster with advisors and some of our investors too. But I think that comes on a later stage.
I think that's this pop down. There we go. I think that's this one's there we go. If I click the dots on the side, it's not as smooth.
Oh yeah.
For whatever reason. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so you've got some very familiar backers, angel investors. Steve Aoki, wow, DJ there. Mike from Linkin Park. Got some big names here, SoftBank, Kraken, Sandbox. Very familiar.
Yes, exactly. So we got started with the project about halfway through last year. We as a team have raised quite a lot of money across various different projects. So quite well connected, I suppose, in the space. And yeah, we really got started midway through last year. Wanted to just get off the ground quickly. So went out to the network and managed to bring in some cool investors for our angel round. And yeah, some cool names in there as well, for sure.
Yeah, Steve Aoki is a big player in our space. He's definitely a Web3 degen like the rest of us.
Exactly. Funny story, actually, like shortly after, so they came in as Dow Jones. It's a kind of wider group. There's also more names in there that we didn't put on the website. But funny story, shortly after they put the ticket in, I bumped into Steve Aoki at the airport security in Heathrow, entirely by chance.
Really?
Super funny, yeah.
Yeah. And we were like, "Hey, you're investing in one of the things I'm starting up there." No, probably not, right?
I actually did.
It's a good way to break the ice, right? You're not just some random fan coming up to ask for an autograph or something.
No, exactly. I mean, no one had really noticed him yet, so I didn't want to make too big a deal. But I just thought it was like literally a matter of days. I was like, by the way, you know that ticket you guys just put through? Yeah, that's us.
Super exciting stuff. It's always interesting to see the big names and as they're going through Web3 and just seeing like how it's bridging the traditional, wider world and wider audience to what we do in Web3. Because again, I don't know if you're seeing the same thing, but like the general people, especially here in North America, really, they have this weird sentiment about Web3 and NFTs, right? Like there's a bad taste from the last kind of bull run and subsequent bear run, where a lot of them still think that NFTs and blockchain's a scam, and they're not. They're pretty wary of it.
No, for sure. I think a lot of people got burned. But I don't know about you. I feel like, when we had this little dip not too long ago from 100K back down to 80 or so, that classic indicator, like, oh, when my auntie starts asking me about Bitcoin, I feel like we kind of had that again. So I do think this is going to keep on rotating through. It definitely feels like there's a new audience in the last 1 to 2 years, for sure, in the space. But it's good, it's like we say, we need to just keep on going, keep on getting more exposure. Anyone that is actually in crypto knows that it's almost harder to on and off ramp than it is to, do a lot of different things in the classic kind of traditional monetary system. So the people that know, and it's just a matter of just, keeping on going and exposing enough people, and hopefully we stop having those bad actors and bad events that put people off eventually as we keep maturing. But it's still super early.
Yeah. Oh, by far, very, very early. Like I said, it's still a niche topic that pops in and out of the news cycle and things, but it's getting more and more not niche. Now, speaking of growth and that kind of stuff and onboarding more people, this is kind of right up your wheelhouse, right, Guy?
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're aiming here to build a very kind of varied community, with multiple backgrounds, like from your gamer profiles, like people really enjoy like playing, especially like more mobile casual games, like this Nick game we have is the greatest example, ranging to like your more kind of like Web3 natives, like they're all about like kind of like unlocking utilities with your NFTs, with your tokens. So we're building pretty much like in a very cool, very international community, which I feel like is the main magic from the space. Like that it's very easy to kind of access, like having on board like thousands of people from different backgrounds, and we have been building like a pretty big international community, and very happy to see like how kind of like interactive people are, how like people enjoy like our games so far, and yep.
Now, I'm wondering if your demographics are similar to ours. Like we see a lot of Southeast Asia, India, Latin America, not so much North America or Europe yet. Are you kind of seeing that same demographic for you guys in terms of who your main players and participants are?
Yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead, Guy. No worries.
Southeast Asia, obviously, like a big one as well. Philippines, Indonesia. For us, very big actually is Nigeria. Actually, like we had a lot of
really?
Nigerian users. Yes, it's like a very interesting growing demographic, which makes sense. Like this new, I think this like this new wave of Web3 users like is very kind of like they're coming very strongly from India, from like African countries, especially Nigeria, like which makes sense. Like the most populous African country, very young population. Like average age like it's 25, 24, so like very young people there. So it makes sense. Like it makes absolute sense. Like very like getting like very fast digitalized. So it makes absolute sense. Like that this new wave like is kind of coming from these countries. I think it's a matter of numbers, there's so many more people, in Africa, in India, in Southeast Asia, when you compare, to North America or even, Western Europe. It's not even close, and obviously, and especially as we know from the first wave, kind of, of Web3 gaming, Web3 gaming really provide as a very interesting opportunity, for people to play and actually earn some significant income. Also, Nigeria, India, Southeast Asia, average income is slower than Western Europe and the US. So $10 for an American might not mean much, but $10 for someone in Southeast Asia or in Nigeria, it's a whole different deal. So it makes absolute sense. It makes absolute sense demographics as they are, and it shows the power of of Web3 across the world, not only blockchain specific regions. And as you expand infrastructure get expanded throughout the world, etc. You're gonna see more and more people from these countries and from other countries also getting on board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%. It's interesting. Like I said, it's odd that North America and Europe aren't taking part of it, and I think the fact that a lot of people in these third and second world countries are embracing technology at such a quicker pace, hopefully will even the playing field for them, right? Especially with AI and certain technologies, it's the people that embrace the technologies early that usually get a head start and keep that head start. So we'll see if that continues to level a playing field. I know for a lot of people in the Philippines that I ended up meeting, like the Web3 has changed their life quite intensely, and definitely pulled a few people up instead of down.
No, for sure. We actually have it's actually one of the things I'm super proud of. We have an amazing story where we were running a beta test. Even it wasn't even on mainnet in some of our beta testing we were doing. We were running real money snake tournaments, and one of our core community members, shout out Runzi, he's been with us since the very early days. He's an amazing gamer. We know it. Every mini game we put out, he always crushes it. So we invited him to this beta test, and he ended up earning about $250 in 10 days of gameplay. And he's a younger guy in Indonesia. He's always supporting us, but it was actually really nice to see as well that he kind of walked away with a pretty hefty bag as well. So he's like one of our favorite success stories.
He's one of the OGs, so it's well deserved.
Right, and we just make sure that we black box that if Rumsey's in a tournament, we don't tell people.
Exactly. Give people a heads up that a pro player might be involved.
Exactly. I don't know. He's the best person I've ever seen play Snake in my life. But really cool story.
Yeah. Speaking of Snake, that's your first kind of game that's out right now. It's just a traditional Snake launch on Telegram, correct?
Yeah, exactly. So the backstory is we started building on Telegram. We onboarded over 500,000 users. We launched a couple of different games. One of them was the first kind of biggest large-scale real-time Telegram game. We were able to host hundreds. I think we hit almost 1,000 concurrent users in one mini app, with everybody playing on the same game screen. So yeah, it was pretty hefty on the tech there. And then the second game, or second sort of major game we released, was Snake. So that's the one that you can see the promo video right there on. And this was released as kind of a pilot for our tournament model. So for this pilot, we basically just did a daily Snake tournament. You buy in inverted commas, as it were, so you get your entry ticket. It was free to play one time. Then that gives you unlimited attempts for the rest of the day. And then you just try to compete and get as high a score as possible. And then we basically pay out based on the final ranking at midnight. And so, yeah, we launched that. It was really, really great. We had, statistics by traditional gaming metrics that were really insane. Our core user retention was about double what you get in regular mobile gaming. And it was a really great success. We then actually partnered with Avalanche, the blockchain, for this tournament to offer AVAX rewards as well. And that was towards the beginning of this year. And then effectively what happened was, we had started with the thesis building on Telegram. Then we just partnered with Avalanche, and then that's when Telegram announced the Ton exclusivity. And so we kind of were at a bit of a decision time. We had always been planning to go cross-platform for the longest time. And so we kind of took that moment then to decide, okay, let's focus full efforts onto the migration to web app as our next platform. So the current status is basically you can still play this Snake Telegram mini app, except we took out all the blockchain integrations. It's just kind of like traditional mini app, but you can still go there and get a taste for the tournament model. You just have to play with our in-game currency called Kokos, which are basically the points of our ecosystem right now. And we're right in the thick of the web app migration as well now. So that should be coming out in the next couple months, web app, and then mobile app after that. But if you want to go get a feel of Snake, that's still available on Telegram. You can just go to our Twitter, and there's a link in our bio to find it.
Oh, okay. So exciting. Like you guys are, when you say web app, that's essentially like a web browsing, right? Somebody just signs in, they can throw your link into the browser and they can play all the games in your library via said browsing.
Yes, exactly. And that's actually one thing that I'm super excited for. Obviously Telegram was very exciting because the user statistics that were published, and when you think about the overlap between the Web3 demographic and Telegram users, the argument was, or is, that you're already in every Web3 user's pocket if you build Telegram games. But then I kind of realized, or it kind of dawned on me that I often use this test. I call it to myself the mum test. When I try to think of, how I keep things simple, how I keep things easy for everyone to understand. I asked myself, actually, this is a true story. My mum asked me, how do I play your game? And I said, oh, you should play on Telegram. She's like, what's Telegram? There's no hope in hell that I'm converting someone like that to my Telegram games. And then this was kind of going through my head when we were deciding, okay, do we go full on Telegram or we start the migration now? Then I realized if I just sent my mom a URL for the Safari, the browser on her iPhone, she knows exactly how to do that. She knows how to click through a website. She knows, how to figure out a Snake game. And then I realized that, Telegram has really insane user statistics, but every single phone has a browser. So that kind of argument of the accessibility is almost amplified on browser. And so that's one thing I'm really excited about with launching this web app version. I think it will really help for us to target Web 2 users. And then when we move to mobile app 2, it kind of makes the experience even smoother. And later we'll probably do a desktop version as well. So the way we're building things is we're trying to keep it very transferable and adaptable in terms of design and tech and so on. But that's actually one thing I'm really excited about. When all you need is a URL and everybody knows how to use the browser.
So that's kind of your pipeline right now, or I guess you could say roadmap is you want this web app, then you want a mobile app, and you want to be, have as many places for people to access the platform as possible.
Exactly, yes. So we're kind of targeting a model that's already very successful in Web 2, actually. And I'm sure we'll probably go into this, kind of what our advantages are and how we see Web 3 over Web 2 gaming. But this kind of competitive skill-based gaming model it's a thing already. It's also pretty successful in Web 2. The industry turned over $20 billion in the last year or so, if not more, depending on what you look at, and if you want to include poker or some of the other kind of more almost casino games into the skill-based category. Except we have a lot of cool things planned with sort of our token models and our NFTs and gamification and branding as well that you just simply can't do in Web 2. And so our kind of approach here and our thesis here is that we actually think the model fits the Web 3 demographic better, and we can also make a better product. So we basically want to take that model and bring it to Web 3, and then we win Web 3 with a better product, and then that makes it easier to target Web 2 when they see, to put it simply, hey, I can make more money playing this platform. And then that's the way we aim to kind of segue into Web 2, and that's where it gets important that we have things like a web app or a mobile app that's very familiar for Web 2 users, and we abstract all the Web 3 stuff away and so on as well. But I guess we'll go into more detail in that in a little bit of time.
Yeah, we'll probably dive into that a little bit at the end here. I want to talk, you briefly mentioned Coco, which I'm assuming is your token, right? What are the use cases of that, and how are you merging that with said web app or with the games that you're going to be playing here?
Yeah, so we actually are still kind of, or shortly beginning with Coco go to market. We just announced this week that there's going to be a community pre-sale, and if you hold one of our Kokomo, so our PFP collection, you're going to get guaranteed access to that token pre-sale. But as it stands, Coco is just a point system, and then it's going to convert into our token. We have a lot of really cool things planned. Don't want to give away too much alpha here, but effectively the way that we're building it is that it has two phases of utility. The first phase is what we call the gaming phase, and that's different utility that just makes your gaming experience better. So there's a few different things to that, but it's stuff like you get boosted rewards if you enter tournaments using Coco. You also have various different retention mechanisms that are designed for if you're losing to help you out. We also have loyalty programs and staking. Depending on how much you stake, it unlocks different things, which unlocks better bonuses and boosts and stuff like that. So these things are kind of designed to really increase your rewards at the end of the day, basically. So that's kind of the main gaming utility. The second phase is that, how I mentioned this, the tech that we're building, we're kind of taking it from more of a zoomed out level, that we want anything that ends with a score to be able to just plug into our infrastructure. That means that not only us as a game developer can publish games, but it also means we can open up the infrastructure and the technology to other developers, or like we talked about earlier, even just kind of tuning or white labeling the games that exist already. So if we wanted to play a chess tournament, like I said, as an example, but we wanted to do it on, I don't know, specific rules or terms or whatever, as a group, we could customize that. But the end vision is that we have hundreds of games, and not only just us publishing. And so when you have this wider ecosystem running on one infrastructure, you got to think about things like gas and block space and how do you keep things efficient. And so that's where actually the second part of our vision comes in. We're building an Avalanche, and the plan is that we want to release the Kokomo layer 1, so an Avalanche subnet.
And the idea there is that we kind of want to do similar to what Godzilla are doing with Off the Grid and AAA gaming, but we want to do it for casual gaming and our own platform. So we want to unite everything that's in our ecosystem to run on our own L1. And then that's where kind of the blockchain utility comes in with Coco as well, where it's a gas token. There's various different components that go into that as well. But the idea is basically Gunzilla, except for the more accessible and more crypto native, to be honest, casual gaming market. But everyone has a PlayStation, but everyone has a mobile phone.
Yes.
So that's kind of the approach we want to take.
So I guess speaking of Gunzilla, are you both players of Off the Grid?
I've tried it. I'm not a huge console gamer, honestly. We guess from the angle. Guy, have you played it yet?
No, actually, I haven't. Probably should try it sometime. Actually,
It's pretty good. I'm a big guy into that because I have a background of playing Halo and Call of Duty quite a bit. Back in the old MLG days before esports really took off, and Off the Grid has thrown a nice twist on it. I like that it doesn't take itself too seriously.
No, 100%. And I mean, honestly, like what they're doing as a team, Guns and Gunzilla,
it's really great. It's really impressive. Actually, one of our advisors is from Gunzilla, and it's part of the reason that we decided to build on Avalanche, seeing what they're doing, and also seeing kind of the example they're setting in Web3 gaming as a whole. We're big fans, and so it's really cool to see.
Yeah, especially since they're one of the first games to really put Web3 on the main stage, right? It's funny playing with a lot of people in lobbies that are playing on console that have no idea that there's really any blockchain technology. They just like the game and like playing it. They have no clue that it's like Web3 or there's NFTs involved at all.
No, definitely. And then when you see kind of the on-chain metrics in terms of volume and it just makes sense, if you have a skin and you earned it, you should be able to sell it and make money on it. Like things like this is awesome. And so
I guess that's one of the main use cases for Web3 gaming being inevitable. But it's really cool to see it's happening. They're definitely flying the flag for us as an industry.
Excellent. Yeah, so I want to swap over here because we talked about Kokomo a little bit, like the Coco token, but you guys and you touched on it. We have these OG kind of 1001 PFP collection that are going to unlock certain VIP aspects of it. So do you just want to talk a little bit about that, Guy or Ben?
Guy, I'll let you do it. You always do a great job. I know you worked hard on this drop, so you go ahead and introduce the Kokomons.
Yeah, amazing. Like Kokomo's is our ongoing PFP drop. Right now live on Magic Eden, actually as one of the first ever AVAX drops on Magic Eden, which is something we're very proud of. Be able to host our drop on Magic Eden. But essentially, yes, 1001 very nice looking sweet Kokomos here. Very cute as well. If you head over to Magic Eden, you're there. So they look amazing. A little of course a little bit biased here, but art's amazing. But essentially they are just the board apes are Bakar. Those are the Kokomos for us. They unlock the utility, the core utility for our platform. The whole platform we're discussing right now about everything we are gonna be building, everything the Kokomos are gonna play a central role in it. So ranging from free entries to VIP only contests to discount for all games for early access to all games, for VIP community, VIP alphas. But I think most importantly it gives a very nice utility with our based on our Coco token. The Coco token is going to be powering the whole platform. Everything is going to be on Coco. Contests, payouts, etc., all run by Coco. And essentially, by holding one of these Kokomos gives the holder access to the Coco pre-sale, which is going to be taking place very, very likely during Q3. But I feel that the biggest one is that it gives also access to monthly Coco airdrops following TG. So for 12 months, every month, holders are gonna be getting like a certain amount of the Coco tokens, which like obviously like it's they can do whatever they want. They can trade. They can spend on the platform. They can try to 10x kind of use their Cocos to like play the game and try to 10x everything. So it's a huge deal having one of these Cocos, and obviously kind of the bonus, the perks are all kind of exponential. So you have 10 Cocos, you get 10 times the airdrops, you get 10 times the maximum allocation for the pre-sale. So they are really key. If you want to be part of our platform, if you have one, unlock so much functionality, unlock so much utility. It's a huge deal, and as you can see, they're almost 80% minted. Still 5 days to go, so a little bit of time still, but only 200 remaining. The floor price as well, is a 1.3 APEX right now, so it's both 30% above floor price. So those are gonna be running out fast. I feel like in the less than 2 days we minted over 300 more. So honestly, we expecting these to be kind of done by the weekend. So before these 5 days are completed. So if anyone here interested in our vision and everything we're building, kind of participate in our platform, but also have a very decent participation in our Coco tokens, I definitely recommend getting one of those sweet Kokomos. And take a look at them. They're lovely. They look at this art style. It's it's one of the most again, I'm very biased, but they are simply amazing. But Ben obviously can add something else, but the whole team has worked extremely hard for this, from concept stage to kind of to finalize all the assets, to finalize the art, and also shout out to negotiating everything with Avex and Magic Eden. Very proud to be one of the first drops ever on Avex and Magic Eden. So check it out.
And this is the right website that I'm on right now, right? It's just Magic Eden and then there, because I know, shout out to Spicer here. He's he wants to make sure everybody's on the right thing, so they're not minting some scam, right?
No, for sure. Just make sure you're on Magic Eden, of course. You can filter by Avalanche and then just head to the Launchpad page. And you'll see them right there. But no, I'm biased too. I think they're super cute. There's lots of different variations. There's also 11 one-of-ones kind of hidden throughout the collection. And me personally, I really like the Magic Eden minting UX, where you kind of, it's feels like a roll almost, then you see what you got, and it's a lot of fun. So I actually minted a couple extras just to see which ones I would pull. But as Guy said, we're building this really big ecosystem, and we want the Kokomons to kind of be the stamp of, I'm a VIP, I'm the OG, I'm right there at the beginning. So they're a small collection, only 1001 editions, and they're going fast. We had some whales come in. We announced the token utility, and people are hodling. Lots of good stuff planned for them. So definitely want people to check them out.
Well, and just the fact, right, that people are going to be getting airdrops after for holding it is usually a good sign, right? No matter if the price of the NFT goes up or goes down, usually if you're getting an airdrop, you're at least good to break even. Fingers crossed. And I'm noticing that the mint price, one AVEX, is relatively cheap. At least maybe in my mind, when I was minting NFTs during the last bull run, the last big bull run, where we were seeing mint prices go anywhere from 200 to 1,000 USD. This is extremely reasonable.
No, 100%. The thing with this is, like I said at the beginning, our one-liner is we want to make the world's most rewarding gaming platform, and that has to be universal for everybody. And like we talked about, different demographics and so on. Everything that we do is all about keeping things fair and keeping things accessible. And so we wanted to keep it a cheaper mid price, so we didn't kind of gate it to any of our core community members. But also what's important then is that we wanted to make sure they get to the right homes as well. So kind of keeping it on the cheap side, keeping it on the fairer side, it disincentivizes flips as well a little bit. And most importantly, like we said, gets them into good hands. And then of course, the token airdrop is kind of similar sort of ethos behind it as well. We're actually doing 12 months of airdrops, so you get a whole year of it, but that also kind of incentivizes, and the idea is there to make people hold it for longer, because we're in it for the long haul. We've got a lot of stuff we want to ship. We've got a lot of upside in terms of how big we want to build this thing. And so we just wanted to make sure that everything is aligned and pointing in that same direction. You just scroll past there too. We just announced that Quest N campaign where you can also win a Kokomo as well. So that's available. Or easiest, like we said, just to head straight to Magic Eden, and be diligent, of course. No, don't want anyone getting into any trouble with any scams or anything.
Excellent. I'm just trying to think here. Have we covered all the major points of what Kokomo Games is and all the exciting stuff that you have going on?
I believe so. I mean, maybe there's one thing I can kind of drop some alpha here. YGG, thanks for having us. And I think we put it on our Twitter. There might be some more activations coming. I know you guys have some of the best games testers in the world, so we're working with a team as well. And as mentioned, we're migrating to web app and mobile app, and that's going to mean beta testing. Of course, there's going to be some incentivization there and some rewards there as well. So hopefully more to come too, but that's probably worth bringing up that in the next month or two, we'll have some campaigns running and hopefully run them with you guys and your community as well.
Does that sounds like you're talking about our game testing program?
Something like that. Yeah, we haven't announced it yet, but something like that.
There you guys go. May's gonna be having a word with me later about that. May's heading up our game testing program, but a lot of people in our audience are extremely familiar or a part of the game testing program. They love alpha. They love to play games early before anyone else does. So, guys, be on the lookout for that. If you aren't already in the game testing program, it is open. You can apply. Go apply with May. I'm sure she'd love to see you guys there. I actually think May has a game testing stream coming out later, either today or tomorrow. So always busy. It's always busy here at YGG. We always have various different things popping in and out to see what sticks and see what people are enjoying and stuff. So very, very exciting. Now, we still have about 15 minutes or so on the stream. Maybe I can just pick your brains about, the general sentiment of the space, whether that's talking about Web3 gaming or talking about AI, just in general. Any of those topics kind of pique your interest there, Ben or Guy?
Yeah, I mean, as a studio, as a developer, everyone's always super interested in what's happening with AI, right? I think I'll let Guy take over, but it's quite a funny joke that our CTO mentioned. But what I see is really, really great is kind of the asset generation right now. It's getting really, really good. It really helps us speed up a lot of things, and also in terms of shipping things quicker. It's really amazing, and so it's only making people more agile, making more products hit the market sooner. So it's really great. We use quite a lot, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of advancements still to come, and it's very interesting to see where it's going to go as well. I don't know, Guy, if you have anything to add on that side.
Yeah, no, we optimize everything, right? Every single area, can be optimized. It's what I see, AI, especially, for me personally, growth. It's a good assistant. It helps me, set up copies, helping me, kind of optimize some procedures, cleaning spreadsheets, optimizing processes, suggestions, and then if you go a little deeper level, SEO analysis, ASO analysis, whenever we have that, and other kind of basic growth techniques that normally are some manpower is needed, manual work is needed, but now you have this kind of all-knowing assistant that can give some good input and can optimize tasks. And I was marketing is only one side, but as Ben said, for product, like is amazingly good. For designing, amazingly good. So, and that's something that I see not only obviously for us, but for every single, let's say, game. Not only even like game content, but for every single product out there in every single area possible, and not only regarding software as well. Essentially all over the world, every single industry is impacted by it. There's obviously the bad side of that, like the dark side that some companies realize that okay, we can just replace some workforce by AI, and we see stuff happening like just this week with Microsoft firing literally 3% of the whole company, and kind of replacing everyone by AI. We see other tech companies also replacing people by AI. So I still think in many ways a gamble because there are some things I still definitely think that people can do better than an artificial intelligence.
Mm-hmm.
So might be too early to fully commit to kind of replacing humans by machines, let's say. But yeah, no, it's definitely fascinating, and it's revolutionary, and it's gonna probably mark the next the rest of the century, I would say. It's such an amazing deal, and for us, if we go to back small scale, it's really a huge deal for us. It's how we can actually get affected, how it helps us, how it helps us kind of speeding process, and especially with us, we are making hundreds of casual, simple games to put on our platform, and AI can help optimize and speed up the process extremely. Now, if we are prior to AI, if we expect to deliver 10 games a month, now we kind of we can double, triple that. So yeah, amazing stuff. Excited. Some people might be going full in a little too early, but hey, it's still another huge deal, and I cannot wait to see how we can use it.
Yeah, I'm always of the mindset that I don't think AI is going to necessarily, take a lot of jobs, or it's going to take a lot of jobs, but it's also going to create a lot of jobs. And the people that are willing to learn how to use AI effectively are going to be the people that, get ahead and continue to have jobs, versus the people that are, against it will probably unfortunately be out of the jobs, or have to look for very specific niche jobs where AI can't really, tackle for the near future, right? So we have a future of work program here at YGG, and again, like I was saying earlier, it seems like the people in Southeast Asia, LATAM, and India, places like that, are really they're gung-ho. They're learning about all these tools without any prejudice or stuff like that, and they're getting an edge where a lot of people in North America and Europe are not. They're not willing to learn. They're not willing to take or use these tools because they hear all the fear mongering about it, and unfortunately that might leave them on the back burner in the next I don't know if you would call this another industrial revolution, right? But again, same thing back then. It was the people that embraced the technology that ended up really getting ahead.
No, 100%. And I mean, we see it very tangibly, right? Like, if you just look at the speed of dev and shipping games, I mean, we're building quite a simple game. Of course, it's very complicated, the underlying kind of tech, but we have shipped mini games in about half a day now, when before you're looking probably at least a few weeks. And so that is incredibly tangible, but it also delivers more value to the end users too. It means, like I was saying earlier, we can make better products, we can ship things quicker, we can get updates in quicker. And then when you look at kind of the roles and the people behind it, I don't really think necessarily things are going to be replaced as quickly as some headlines might make you think, but it does just make you better as well. So that's what's really interesting. The funny joke that I was going to mention earlier is that our CTO, he really loves AI because he loves how it, he basically says you can tell that devs are building LLMs because they're coming for the image generation, the designers first. I thought it's really funny. But
Which is
not quite there.
Yeah, although it's gotten extremely good, right? And that was kind of the funny thing is creatives and creators, they thought they were safe, right? They were laughing at everybody else to a degree, saying like, well, we'll be safe because AI is gonna be able to do like dev related jobs and stuff like that, but it's never gonna be able to create. And oddly enough, that's kind of the first thing that we saw like really take off with AI, right?
Right. That's kind of what got it mainstream, but you can still kind of tell when something's AI generated, I think. It's really great, but you can still tell most of the time.
Well, and the odd thing is, like, I have a few creative friends as well that are artists, and the ones that have embraced AI, they actually say that it helps them as a creative, right? So from what I understand, and I'm not a creative person myself, one of the hardest things about what you want to create is getting a bunch of ideas to stick, right? And for what they say is they can just plop an idea that they have into the AI. It will generate a bunch of ideas or general images, and then they can take that and they can put their own creative twist on it, right? So again, it's this idea that the people that are embracing AI and not totally just up against it are getting a leg up, right? It's actually improving their art or whatever they're doing because they're using it as a tool. They're not seeing it as something that's gonna ruin their career or take away from them.
100%.
Cool. Well, we could probably ramble about AI forever. I'm just going to quickly ask our community if they have any questions here. I think we've been pretty good with answering everything, but I will just open the floor up to them. Guys, do you have any questions for the Kokomo team here before we kind of wrap up this Friday stream? We'll see if any questions flood in. Usually at this point we're pretty good. I feel like I've done a pretty good job of making sure that we cover all our bases. So I always say that if we're not getting questions, we must have done our job right.
No, you definitely guided us well through that. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, well, it's always good to have the founder and somebody that's very experienced with the team there, Guy, especially your growth guy, on to explain things. It goes a long way.
Pleasure to be here.
But yeah, on that note, I'm not seeing any questions. I'm just seeing some people talking about the mint and thanking you guys for joining. So on that note, yeah, is there any upcoming events besides obviously the mint ending that you guys want to plug before we wrap up the stream?
No, for sure. I mean, the way that the next phase is going to go, or maybe it's a quick recap. We've been doing a load of testing. We onboarded a load of users. We've got a model now that we're super confident on. All the statistics and the metrics are pointing in the right direction. So right now we're kind of in the middle of the migration to the new platform. So there's going to be this big new platform coming out soon in the next month, where then users can come and play mini games and earn real money. So from here now to there, we basically have the mint that's just ending. The Kokomon's gonna plug them one more time. They're like our board ape of our ecosystem. They get you token pre-sale access. They get you token airdrops. They get you VIP access. So that's now. As Guy mentioned, that will probably be all gone in the next couple of days. Sold out. There's only about 200 more to mint. And then from there, as mentioned, one of the main pieces of the utility is that it's going to get you access to the token pre-sale. So we have a small community realm that's going to open. That will kind of be the next phase. Then from there, we plan to launch the new platform. Before that, there'll be some beta testing and different incentivized testnets and so on as well that users can get access to. And then after that, it's mainnet launch, it's TGE, it's scaling the ecosystem, it's adding more games. So a lot of stuff to come. So no, thanks so much for having us and giving us the opportunity to tell everyone about what we're building. Hopefully we'll be back soon for another chat and some more activations as well. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here and speak a little bit about Kokomo.
Awesome. Guy, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, no, just like double down what Ben said, like, we got a lot of stuff like planning for the rest of the year. Obviously the meeting going on, but also like DG platform release, more games, more functionalities. So always like to say like no, but if you're here right now, you're very early to what we're building, and that's actually very true. Like anyone here like wants to be part of the project, like it's still very early. We're just getting like things started. So yeah, just excited to see like what the future takes. And yeah, thanks everyone for having us here today.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for joining and telling us a little bit about what you guys are creating. And it's always awesome to have creators come join the space and tell us, what they're cooking up, because I really think the more people that we have in the space making really cool things, the more likely the whole space is to succeed. And again, it is inevitable. It's only a matter of time, but that wouldn't be the case if we didn't have people like you guys building it. So appreciate you taking the time to come on and, fingers crossed that everything goes well. It sounds like you guys have the ship steered in the right direction. So love to hear from you guys again down the road.
Thanks so much. Thank you for having us.
Perfect. So guys, I am going to wrap up here with our teaser video for whatever reason, if you haven't seen it. As you know, YGG, our gap season's coming fairly soon. And we will be back next week for another global hangout with, well, I'm not quite sure with who yet. We like to do these things pretty last second, Ben, Guy, as you quickly know. But yeah, we will catch everybody later. So again, cheers to the Kokomo team, and we will catch you in the metaverse.
Appreciate it. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
Bye everyone.